provisions of Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth and Act relative to the protection of the wetlands is most recently amended. Notice of the time and place of this hearing was published in the Neighborhood News on August 22nd, 2024. It was also posted in the town clerk's office. Persons wishing to be heard will be called in the following order. This meeting is also being audio and video recorded. Minutes for approval, none. Meeting mail, none. Stormwater. Continued public hearing, Stormwater AMN Estate Holdings LLC, 39 Keene Road. A stormwater permit application has been filed by AMN Estate Holdings for property located at 39 Keene Road, map 2, lot 16, 12G, 13B. The applicant proposes to construct a 6-lot residential subdivision, including 702 linear feet of roadway with a cul-de-sac turnaround on a site sewage disposal system and private wells. The applicant is represented by John Marchand, a filing corp. The plan name is Drainage Map, Angelo Drive Subdivision, dated August 30th, 2023, revised March 25th, 2024. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Any update on this? I haven't heard anything from Bill Madden about this. I don't see the applicant. Is anybody here to discuss this project? 39 Keene Road? I don't see the engineer.
No one's interested.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to continue for more information.
Motion to continue for more information.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
To the next meeting?
To the next meeting,
Next
yes,
meeting.
please. Okay, on to old business. Continued public hearing, notice of intent, N-Star Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy, SE file number 0010593. A notice of intent was filed by N-Star Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy. The proposed work in the town of Acushnet includes the construction of a new 115 kilovolt overhead electric transmission line with the existing right-of-way between Eversource's industrial park tap and Acushnet west to the New Bedford Acushnet municipal boundaries. The proposed activities include installation of 33 new 115 kilovolt transmission line structures, installation of new 115 kilovolt conductor, optical ground wire, and shield wire, installation of stone and timber mat work pads and wire pulling pads, improvement, reestablishment of right-of-way access roads, and installation of new access roads. Stormwater and wildlife habitat documents are on file. The applicant is represented by Eileen Piscura of Powers Engineers. Plan name is Acushnet to Fall River. Reliability project dated June 18th, 2024. Review of matters presented. Votes may be taken. I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Floor is yours.
Yes, Chris Newhall with Eversource Energy, address of 247 Station Drive in Westwood, Massachusetts. And I've got with me tonight Karen Hanachek with Power Engineers, who's the environmental consultant for us on this project. I think last time around we presented our project. Again, it's a new 115 kilovolt overhead transmission line that's going through town from Eversource's existing Mendel tap, or industrial park tap that's off of Mendel Road, and it goes basically to the town boundary with New Bedford up by Route 18. We did previously discuss the project. I think we continued for third-party review. And additionally, in the last couple weeks, we've had a bit of a change in the plans in that we want to provide some additional access within our right-of-way from basically Main Street out to our last structure proposed before crossing the Acushnet River. In the past, we've had an agreement with that property owner to use some of their existing on-site access roads. It's the Keys Tree Farm property. That property is in the process of changing hands at this time, though, and basically some of the discussions with the potential new property owner have called into question whether or not we're going to be able to use those existing roads. We may still be able to use them just for typical, operations and maintenance, but for some of the larger construction equipment that we need to get in to install these new structures, we do need to ensure that we can get access from the nearest public way, obviously, out to those structure locations. So we are proposing some additional timber matting through wetland areas so that we can provide that contiguous access from Main Street all the way out to that last structure before it crosses the Acushnet River. We are not proposing to cross the Acushnet River with a temporary bridge or anything like that, so all of our timber matting would just be in wetlands that exist between Main Street and that last structure that's, I guess, to the north before we would cross that river. It does add some additional temporary impact to bordering vegetated wetlands of approximately 7,645 square feet. And again, those are temporary impacts associated with timber matting that we'd be placing down temporarily so that we can access roads. And I don't have the language memorized, but it's within reason. Now, some of the equipment that we're going to need to get in there is going to be, flatbed trucks, large, wide excavators. Some of the roads that are outside of our easement on that property would need to be, minor improvements like filling potholes in areas where there's ruts in that existing road. There's a couple areas where trees would need to come down as well. And that's where we haven't necessarily come to an agreement with that property owner. And we may not come to an agreement. We're in the process of kind of those discussions, but it's because this property is in the process of transfer, it's a little tricky to come to an agreement prior to full ownership transferring as well. So this allows us to keep on our schedule so that we can start construction early next year when we're proposing to start construction without basically being contingent upon coming to an agreement with that property owner.
So this is the contingency.
Right.
That's right. This is the contingency plan to
Okay.
ensure that this project.
Because in the past, they had access through the
Right,
property.
and obviously, we don't want to pull a surprise on anybody that's going to buy new land here in Acushnet as a surprise that this project's going on and these are the plans, because we certainly don't want to end up in any type of litigation regarding this. I just think, make these new landowners aware that this is a good possibility, so they're aware of this.
Yeah, they've met.
Yeah, the new property owner is aware. They have received an abutter notification. So, we've done our due diligence in terms of properly notifying in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act, but we've also met with them in person as well. And
So what's the
identified-
consensus from these potential new landowners regarding this project?
I would say that, my sense is that they would be opposed to it, but at the same point, we have an easement here, it predates their ownership. That easement allows us to operate multiple lines within that easement. And, in that regard, we're not a landowner or a property owner necessarily, but we hold easement across that property, which gives us, more or less significant rights to be able to do and build what we're proposing to build.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. What is the extent of the easement in terms of width? What is the
I
actual?
believe it's approximately 200 feet wide.
Yeah, so if you see the yellow line here on the plans,
Yeah.
that's the full extent of the Eversource easement.
Yeah,
So those are the boundaries of the easement, those two?
correct, yeah,
Okay.
and our easements vary, in width based on property. In some locations it's 200 feet, other locations it might be 250 feet, in other locations it might only be 150 feet. But it does vary, but give or take, it's about 200 feet.
And that being said, what would the width of the impact inside the buffer zone actually be, roughly?
So these work pads are generally 100 feet
Well,
by 100
the
feet.
permanent impact is what I'm referring to.
So the access roads
Yeah,
within the
So
boundaries.
those would be approximately 16 feet wide.
16?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anybody here from the public here to speak on this? No.
Chairman.
Yep.
I got a chance to look at the plans that they're showing us on the computer today. I don't see the way this is going to make any, it's making no significant impact to the wetlands themselves. There's going to be maybe another dirt road through the veg, the bordering vegetated, but
Yeah.
that always grows pretty good. They seem to get enough time to get brush and stuff grows back in there before they use them.
Right.
So I don't think that we should worry about this moving forward with this new plan.
No, I agree. And the temporary impacts, they are in fact temporary because everything seems to bounce back very quickly. I agree. Okay, I'll let, Mark, you got anything to add?
No.
No, okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I guess my only question would be, who are you waiting to hear back from now? You have your 401 water.
So the
quality
401 water quality certificate is in process. That is making its just way through the typical process. We put out a public notice for that as well.
Yep.
We are trying to schedule a site walk with the DEP review analyst. We're trying to do that, I think, next week and the week after. There's going to be a few different days. They need to see basically every town that we're in. We're in Acushnet, New Bedford, Dartmouth, and Fall River, so we're planning 4 days to have those site walks. Once that gets issued, that kind of clears the way for the 404 certificate, permit from the Army Corps of Engineers to get issued. That has been in process since April.
Okay. And then you've heard from Natural Heritage, obviously.
Yeah, and Natural Heritage has responded back not only to the notice of intent filings, but we did have an Endangered Species Act checklist filing with them. We received a conditional no-take approval from them, which requires us to implement certain rare species protection measures. But so long as we implement those measures, the project is allowed to move forward.
And your SWIP is not completed, correct?
That's not completed yet. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're incorporating any changes to the
Right.
permitting process into those final drawings so that we can, develop that document and then file it. And once we've got a contractor onboarded as well, we'll file that. That's a 14-day waiting period for construction.
Okay, so, with that said, I'll entertain a motion to issue a positive order of conditions. And I guess any special conditions would be in the form of the comments from the Army Corps, the DEP review, and Natural Heritage. Strict adherence to whatever their comments are.
Make the motion.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And then when, before it starts, invite us out just to check.
Yeah, we can, let you know when we're planning to start. We can work with you and get you any additional documentation that you might want to see if you want copies of the SWIP or anything like that. We can get you all that information.
That would be great.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, new business. Public hearing. Notice of intent, N-Star Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy. SE file number 0010594. A notice of intent was filed by N-Star Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy. The proposed work in the town of Acushnet includes lines 142 and 143 replacement project. The replacement of the two advanced age underground transmission lines include a horizontal direction drill under the Acushnet River and temporary wetland impacts from layout of the HDD casing. The applicant is represented by Eileen Piscura of Power Engineers Incorporated. Plan name is lines 142 and 143, 115 kilovolt replacement project dated July 25th, 2024. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening. My name is Peter DeFuso. I'm a senior environmental specialist with Eversource, and I'm the applicant for the project. I do have some team members with me here tonight who will introduce themselves when their turns come to speak. As Mr. Chairman said, this project is a replacement of 215 kilovolt lines due to age They're coming out of the existing Acushnet substation off of Beach Street, and they're heading west. Traditionally, these lines were open trenched across the Acushnet River back in the early 2000s by the EPA and the Superfund effort that I think everybody's aware of in the Acushnet River that's gone on for the past couple of decades. With this project, we were looking to minimize those environmental impacts by using a trenchless crossing. So, as stated, a horizontal directional drill has proved appropriate for this project. So that'll be stationed on the Acushnet side of the river. Part of this horizontal directional drill is the need to lay out the conduit that's going to run under the Acushnet River. Now, this conduit will go under into bedrock and will be in an arcing motion under the river. So you can imagine that there's a good amount of linear footage that we need to obtain that arc. There's an existing right-of-way that extends northerly from the existing station. It's cleared, it's maintained with vegetation under our transmission standards. So we are planning to line all the way to the end of that, ending before a salt marsh expanse that kind of roughly ends that right-of-way. There's going to be temporary construction mats that go down through there with sections of bordering vegetated wetland. The impacts will be temporary. By the river will be stationed for the drilling operations. And with that, I will say there's already a decent work pad established by the EPA who's been using our property for access to the Superfund site. It's primarily cleared almost to the point we need it, so we are proposing some tree removal with this project. And that will be to facilitate not only the new lines going under, but then the layout as well. Once the work is complete, we will plan to restore that area. We did not submit a restoration plan with the notice of intent. However, we have drafted one that we would like to at least present to the commission tonight for discussion purposes. In regards to the operations that are going to go on, we'll have all the standard best management practice for soil erosion and sediment control, as well as spill prevention and control. And some of those you can imagine would be straw wattles, straw bales. Spill kits will absolutely be with each piece of construction equipment. As far as refueling goes, there is a stationary portion of this equipment that will need to be refueled. And I'll turn it over in a moment to our specialist to discuss the frequency and the volumes as regard to refueling. But in preparation for that effort and where it is being stationary in proximity to the wetland areas, we're going to be proposing a secondary containment during refueling operations. In regards to fuel storage on site, any fuel storage that will be on site can be kept in a quantity of 5 gallons or less and can be, again, in a secondary containment and in the upland area. With that, I would like to turn it over now to Mr. David Hallowell.
All right, thank you. David Hallowell, I'm with SWCA Environmental Consultants. I'm working with Power Engineers and Eversource on this project. As you know, as Pete had mentioned, the primary work in Acushnet is from the substation to the town line and essentially the center of the Acushnet River, where the HDD will cross under the river, and then the layout of the conduit within the existing right-of-way. We do have 3 areas where we will have temporary impacts to the wetlands for the layout of that conduit. We will have timber construction mats in all 3 of those for the protection of the wetland. And those will come out once the conduit is fully in place, so just temporary impacts there. We expect, depending on the time of year, we'll have to mow the right-of-way, but that should be it. Our expectation is that there won't be any other work done for the layout of that conduit, just the ability to lay it out and then traverse it with equipment to move the conduit as needed. The work area around the HDD itself and the drilling operation will require some tree clearing on the Acushnet River or along the Acushnet River, and that's just to create enough of a workspace for us. Exit the The drill itself will exit on this side. That's at least the current intent. We pulled back the conduit through this. I'm gonna hand this over to Nick in a minute to give more detail. But we've also got manholes that would get installed, and this would be from the HDD exit, it would be open trench for the installation of the manholes and connection to the Acushnet substation. Nick Strader with Brierly Engineering is our HDD engineer, so I'm going to hand it over to Nick at this point and give you some more details on the HDD and how that works.
Sounds good. So as Pete and Dave mentioned, the plan is to stage the principal HDD drill on the other side of the river and drill towards the substation here and exiting into this workspace. We'll have two separate bores exiting at that location. The workspace is about 100 by 115 feet in size. The workspace itself on this side of the river would host the HDD exit pits, which would be about 7 to 8 feet long and about 5 feet wide, maybe 4 feet deep. These pits would be the location where the drill bits and the reamers would be exiting the ground, and then the pits themselves would be used for containment of drill fluid that's used to remove the cuttings from the borehole and keep the borehole open. The equipment on this side of the river within that workspace would include reclaimers, drill fluid reclaimers. The drill fluid that is pumped out of the drill rods into the pits would be removed from those pits with pumps into reclaimers, and they remove the cuttings and clean the drill fluid, and to the extent that we can, it's pumped back downhole for reuse. Other equipment on site would likely include an excavator and a front-end loader for removal of spoils. And then as Dave mentioned, what we're looking at here, and it's a little tough to see in this plan, but we have a workspace here, a linear workspace, which would allow lay down an assembly of the duct that's going to get pulled in the hole. And so the idea is once the holes are completely drilled and reamed to the desired diameter, we're talking about a 54-inch hole approximately in each case. Once the holes are prepared and the duct is fully assembled, where the casing is pulled back into the borehole from north to south in each case, and so that would happen twice. And so that workspace here along in the gray zones that Pete and Dave described, that would host the assembly of the individual cable ducts as well as a casing for containment.
So then the HDD itself will be roughly at its deepest point will be about 60 feet below the bottom of the Acushnet River. Will be in bedrock for the majority of this drill. That's the intent for this.
Yeah, so we've taken a number of test borings in the river and on the substation side to get a feeling for the geotech, know what we're dealing with. As Dave mentioned, the majority of both bores will be in bedrock. Bedrock here is pretty shallow, granitic rock, which should make for pretty good drilling conditions, stable drilling conditions. It does a good job typically of keeping the drill fluid where we want it. With a straight shot in each case, rather than having an arcing alignment for ease of drilling and to make it as efficient and as quick as possible. And those bores are each about 1,300 feet long and change.
So we can continue. You want to touch on? So we have this is our engineering plan. I know it's hard to see on this, but the tree line kind of comes through almost to the middle of this now. There's the existing transmission lines are in a bundle of two existing 115 kV transmission lines. One's being replaced. There's a number of distribution lines within that, and then also another 115 kV transmission line. So those are all in this area here. We're going just to the north of that with the layout of this HDD. And this work area does require some tree clearing on both sides of it in order to facilitate this operation. So we do have, as we discussed on Saturday, we do have a restoration plan where we had identified the trees that were being removed, and essentially trying to replace what's there. Our layout for this has left space on both sides for the existing transmission lines and distribution bundle. We try to stay at least 10 feet off of those manholes and conduits, and then also on the same thing on the proposed, keeping a corridor open around that, but then working in trees and shrubs on either side of that.
Some of the species we utilized were just the ones to match that were out there that are being removed. So eastern red cedar, white oak, red oak, black cherry were the tree species. The shrub species, we had some sweet pepper bush. I have to look to see what else we proposed. Witch hazel and azalea. The two spaces that you see, those will just get a seed mix because we don't want to plant we have standards that we shouldn't plant over infrastructure. So we maintain those buffers, but they will be vegetated.
Is it like a 1-to-1 ratio for replacement?
But it's going to be less than that because of the new infrastructure that we're leaving room for.
Yep.
So we are leaving a little bit more open. This entire area that we saw on the site visit was occupied by autumn olive prior to the EPA getting out of there. So all of this essentially will be a betterment to the site. And as the Acushnet River starts to reheal after the Superfund site cleanup, some of these pathways will function, for whether it's turtle habitat, for leaving things that are unvegetated, for organisms to get to the sand and the substrate that depend on that. And then also we try to promote wildlife borders and things that are in there. So even though we are leaving gaps and it's not going to be full vegetated with trees, it will have a diversity of differing native vegetation.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, what is the total width of that staging area you're going to create? Curious.
130 feet across this way.
Sure.
130 feet.
Yep.
And I think we were 180 in the other direction. I think that was the case.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah.
The drilling fluid that you speak of, what is the base, what is that
It's a
material?
bentonite-based.
Oh, it's bentonite?
Yep,
Okay,
bentonite,
yeah,
So
very good.
principally bentonite.
Yep,
and then
no, I'm
put-
familiar with bentonite, yeah, very good.
Yeah, we took a site visit on Saturday. We went out there. I would say it was pretty straightforward. Where they're going to lay it out, they really painted a good picture for us. It's all temporary impacts to the wetlands. I didn't really see an issue. I think it's going to be an interesting project. I'd actually like to stop in and check on the progress. It's going to be pretty cool. I guess my question would be how, from the water line, mean high water, to the bottom, to the mud line, how deep are we talking at the deepest point, I would say?
So at the deepest point from the mud line to the bottom, about 55 feet down to accommodate the geometry.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have much of an issue with this project. From what I've seen, I think they, described it pretty good to us and what it's going to entail. I guess I'll go to the public. Anybody here from the public here to questions, comments, concerns? Come on up to the podium.
I got a question. I own property on 95 Real South Main Street. And I don't know where they're coming in across. They're coming across from the Bedford with the lines that they're doing.
I'm sorry, sir. Can you come up to the podium so I can so you can just state your name just for the record?
Yeah, my name is Nelson Cadoza.
Hi, Nelson.
I own property on 95 Real South Main Street all the way to the water, into the water. And we got something about they're coming across the river with a line.
Yes.
Where they coming in. Are they gonna, which property are they coming in? That's what
It's
I'm gonna-
at the bottom of Beach Street where the substation is. They're coming in from the New Bedford side into the, right where that gate is at the bottom of Beach Street and, I don't know the other street.
Okay,
It's right
so
on the
they're not
corner.
coming, not no more than that?
No, no.
Okay.
There will be some conduit laid down on mats to the north. But I don't think it touches his property, right?
Mr. Chairman, may I
Impact.
share this
Yep.
real quick? Sure, so this is going to be beach, so if you can imagine PJ Keating Woods right here.
Mhm.
This is the Council on Aging right here. So our property is almost directly behind the Council on Aging.
Okay, I own right across the street from PJ Keating, all the way down to the water.
So here's the cars lane.
No.
Are you further east or south?
Isn't it mostly the road
Here?
shed?
Yeah.
The areas that would be
Woods.
impacted by
The actual gravel pit is up over here.
Okay, yeah, then my property's up here,
All right, we'll be well south of you, and we're heading,
because I got a letter come here, and I was wondering if you
Yeah.
cross into there, that's all.
absolutely, we'll be well south of you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Mr. Chairman, a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
These exit pits, they're an open pit, exit pit?
They, depending on the contractor's visa methods, it may be a combination of an open pit with a little bit of a slide rail system for support. So, yeah.
Mm.
So can you give us an idea of how big they are?
So, generally, the width of a big excavator bucket, so say 5 to 6 feet wide, say 7 to 8 to 9 feet long, and in terms of depth, depending on what they get into, 4 to 5 feet deep.
And the reason why I asked that, I did notice the activity out there, not just by dirt biking, but on foot as well. From a safety standpoint concern, that was my concern out there, and we saw that out there. You know, I don't know if you guys have any plans as far as, you know, protecting or keeping people out of that area while you guys are over there working this and having these open pits, just as a safety standard.
Sure. Yeah, it's a pretty typical practice for exactly that reason. We have the same concerns, making sure you don't overnight or over the weekend, you don't have an open excavation so they can place, you know, one of those portable chain link fence with cinder blocks
Yeah.
around it and lock it off.
Yeah.
In addition to secondary containment, so,
Okay.
yeah, good question.
And then the spoils, you said you were gonna have a loader on site. Where are you guys gonna stockpile on that site? Or is there not gonna be, it's gonna be live loading or?
So there's going to be, so what'll happen is the drill fluid will come out of the hole, go through the reclaimers, the cuttings, which is going to be largely crushed rock,
Mhm.
small rock fragments, that will accumulate, be placed into either secondary containment or loaded off in dump trucks as we go, and sent to an approved disposal facility.
Okay. Anybody else from the public? Questions, comments, concerns? No. Okay. How,
I have a question. So the drilling's coming from the New Bedford side, and you mentioned the right-of-way. You're not, are you in the salt marsh there at all, or no? Where?
Potentially so much, do we?
No, we're
No.
not. We've, so this
Sorry.
portion, we've got both
Mainland.
freshwater influence and the tidal influence.
So it's coming.
We had delineated both salt marsh and BVW, and we were able to move our layout of the conduit to the
East.
I'm gonna say to the east.
East.
Thank you. To the east and avoid any of the direct impacts to salt marsh. And then on both sides of the river, the entry and exit pits are above the salt marsh elevation. So.
I know they've been out there replanting, trying to, is there?
Yes.
Right.
We were in coordination with the EPA to make sure they didn't restore this area before we came in, so.
And we were able to work it with them where they were basically working from the high tide line down, and we're essentially staying high tide and up.
and you guys received the comments from Fish and Game regarding, I think it was Fish and Game, the winter flounder spawning and,
Division of Marine Fisheries?
Division of Marine.
We haven't received anything from
Oh,
them
no?
yet, no.
Oh,
No.
okay. No, I saw an email about
Got-
it.
got an
It was on the
that.
email I got today from
Yeah,
Okay.
the office.
yeah, we received,
I guess I can pull it up, I think. I don't know what you do, or they get so many.
Joanne, do you have that printed maybe?
Oh, there you go. I guess Division of Marine Fisheries offers the following comment for your consideration. An HDD contingency plan should be developed prior to construction to minimize risks of a frack out event and develop response measures to minimize impacts. If such event occurs, appropriate containment measures should be employed to prevent siltation in the marine environment during activities. It is unclear if trenching at the Acushnet substation will take place within the salt marsh habitat. Construction should not be allowed in salt marsh habitat or location which could adversely impact salt marsh. Fuel spills from refueling of construction equipment will adversely impact sensitive resource areas. Impacts to resource areas can be avoided by prohibiting all land-based equipment from being refueled on site. If equipment is refueled on site, adequate containment and cleanup materials should be, you guys have all that covered. But I did see something in here about the spawning of winter flounder. Mass DMF has identified New Bedford Harbor as winter flounder spawning habitat. Winter flounder enter the area and spawn from January through May. Demersal eggs hatch approximately 15 to 20 days later. The Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission has designated winter flounder spawning habitat as habitat of particular concern. In previous stock assessment, the winter flounder stock was classified as overfished, with spawning stock biomass in 2019 estimated to only be 32% of the biomass target. So that was an issue. I just, your activity planning and time, I wanted you guys to, I don't know if you considered that. from
Yeah, we had
the-
not received that letter yet from EMS. So
Okay.
thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah, no problem.
And if I can just add, we did actually include a draft inadvertent drill fluid release plan in the notice of intent. That's something that we will work with the contractor to finalize. We can certainly provide that to the commission.
Right, yeah, those are the comments I didn't have a concern with. It was the winter flounder that I wanted to bring to your attention, and so that you guys know that with, because I've been on jobs on the vineyard doing bridge work, driving piles, and then we'd have to stop from January to May,
Yeah.
because the state don't allow us to do it, so.
Okay.
Do you want to wait until they have that information? When was this scope of work supposed to be done? Well, you don't know yet.
Have you guys filed with New Bedford yet for this? Yes?
Yes.
Did you already have a hearing? No?
We did have a hearing with them last week, yeah.
Okay. Was it continued or?
It was,
It
yeah.
was.
Yeah. And actually, because of the Division of Marine Fisheries letters, we were
Okay.
waiting for that. That's why it was continued.
Maybe we should do the same.
I mean,
They have got-
what other agencies are you waiting to hear back from? Do you have your 401 water quality cert?
We will be filing that. That'll probably be going in later this week.
Okay.
And then we'll be submitting to the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as DEP for Chapter 91 license.
Right. I mean, me personally, I almost feel the same way as with the other project. You know, a standard order of conditions and then taking comments like I just read and incorporating that as special conditions, see comments from other agencies that are involved, and my personal opinion is I don't have an issue with this operation. I think they got their bases covered. It's pretty clear cut, and I don't, other than what the other agencies are gonna add to it
Yeah.
with their concerns, there's not much we can add. That's kind of where my head's at.
It makes sense.
About the restoration plan, you have a draft, you said?
Yeah.
Do you want that first?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd like, I mean,
Mr. Chairman, if possible, we could condition it, approval condition
Yeah,
on
we
a
could.
final restoration plan for you.
yes. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Okay, anybody else from the public, comments, concerns?
Entertain that motion.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So
Motion to
moved.
close.
Okay, motion in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to issue a positive order of conditions contingent on the final restoration plan and special conditions being that the comments from the other agencies involved are strictly adhered to.
So moved, right? My motion?
That's, is there a
Second.
second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Guys are all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right. On to discussion.
Staging on the New Bedford side.
All right, we get
What was
this
that?
The housing building,
Oh, I know.
one. Okay, next order of business, discussion, Leonard Street, possible violation update, site visit from August 24th, 2024. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. All right, I'm gonna try to be vague and ambiguous with this. So, I received a complaint at this site, I'd say middle of March. And it was after a meeting from another board. And that meeting was contentious. And then the very next day, I received this complaint, and I was gonna let it cool down. We didn't have an agent at the time, and I didn't want to look into the matter and be used as a pawn. It does happen that conservation gets called as a, as a tool to enable the dispute. So I didn't want to entertain it. So we have an agent now. I didn't have time to look at it then. We had so many other things going on, so I had no problem entertaining the idea of the commission going out there and actually looking at the violation. So, based on my observations, I'll go around to the commission after I just, talk about it. There are violations there. Letters were sent out to 4 residents, and then each parcel abuts and owns a section of that wetland, so. I'd say the violations that I saw were not major, but they're violations technically. So, there was clippings, tree trimmings, stuff like that were just kind of like bear hugged and then walked over and just dumped, And then there was an area where there were some tires in there, but those didn't seem to be, it seemed like they were there for a long time. So, I guess those are my observations. I guess I would say it should stop, but to actually go in there and remove what's in there with a piece of equipment, I think would possibly do more damage than what's necessary it's a functioning wetland area. I guess what I would recommend is just like we did for the site visit notification, I think we should just send a similar letter to the neighbors notifying that is a wetland and not to throw their trimmings in there. But I think that's kind of where my head is on the actual violation. I'll go to you guys and see what you think.
I guess you got the public. Can we do that first?
I mean, it's not really I mean, we can go to the public, but I don't know if the complaint.
What was the exact?
I don't want to go into who
Specifics.
made the complaint, who the complaint was against. I'm just trying to keep it very vague and just the violation. How do we want to proceed with it?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
As the chairman said, we did do a site visit out there. I strongly suggest, because this is an open working wetland, to whomever the parties are responsible for all of the, we'll call it illicit dumping, is to, at this time, cease and desist, because we will keep an eye on this going forward. We don't want it to become a bigger problem than it already is. I say we let the sleeping dog lie where it lies, let that stuff rot down and decompose, and let that wetland be, is I think, the agreeance on what the commission is looking for these particular parcels. Unfortunately, it's a weird layout over there. It's a pie situation. Whomever is responsible, everyone needs to take part in this and stop the nonsense of the dumping over there. Ultimately, we're destroying that wetland, and we can't let that happen, is I think how this commission feels, and feels strongly about this. Thank you.
Mark?
No, I went out and I didn't make this last site visit, but I saw it and it seems, yeah, you know, it's clear that there's material getting deposited in the wetland. You know, the full extent of it, yeah, it's a functioning wetland, you know, so I mean, I don't really have much to add, you know, beyond that, and the, you know, the laws that we're supposed to enforce. I do think that it's shared property, makes it difficult to, you know, how are you going to assign the, you know, I think,
Right.
I think it's a complicated situation that the sooner it stops, you know, the cleaner it's going to be to address the issue.
Right.
If it gets worse, you know, or continues, then you're starting looking at remediation, restoration, and I don't think anyone wants to get there. I mean, would be, I guess, my 2 cents.
Right.
Can I talk real quick? Even though I think we all agree on both of what everybody said, but on the other hand, like, what if we have be allowed to go in there and at least get the tires and stuff? That wouldn't be a bad thing. I'm not saying make somebody do it, but if somebody complained about it, they're obviously concerned about it. Maybe they can go in and get it.
Teenagers.
By hand.
He's right. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I mean, if somebody wants to go in there and bear hug the pile of brush out of there and take it out, I don't have it, I just say bring a machine in and to,
Yeah, I don't think there's no reason for a machine, from what I saw, other than the other stuff that's naturally decomposing. The main thing is, like I was saying, with my background in forestry, I'm not really worried about any brush or anything like that. But the tires, somebody could go in there with a little saw around, pick the tire up, roll it out, bring it to the dump.
There were some telephone poles that were near, like, on the edge of the wetland. I spoke to one of the homeowners. I asked them, you know, why they were there, and they said they were going to remove them. I haven't been out there to see if they've been removed. I assume they would be.
So I just think, yeah, I think that's just like, he was very willing to do it. And
Right.
I think everybody in the whole thing, you know, maybe it'd be a good idea. Everybody go in here and do it together and try to.
Yeah, it could be good team building. Yeah, I guess you're right.
And at the same time, they can clean up some of the mess that was either them or somebody before them or whoever else.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. We can we can put that in the letter that
Yeah.
gets sent to them. That's fine. But I mean,
think it's
as
more than
as
fair.
for enforcement, I think that would probably be the best enforcement, is just don't stop doing that and just,
I have the same feeling that what's done is now been done, should be cleaned up to the best
I mean,
of their ability.
frogs might be laying tadpoles in those
Not this
tires.
time of year.
And not now. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't know.
Just the
I don't know how much.
Mosquitoes are.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
mosquitoes are.
Yeah, so get them out of there.
I just,
Yeah.
Oh, that's another option too. They might be able to call the mosquito squad and have the mosquitoes. They might come out and do it free through the state.
right. Well, those are all options, like I said.
They can do.
In the
They
letter,
can
we
do.
can
I do have a motion on it,
Okay, go ahead.
okay? I move that the Conservation Commission send the following property owners notice that should cease any activities involving the wetlands abutting their properties. The following 4 owners abut the wetland. Their owners are Robert D. Terra of 197 Leonard Street, Laurie A. Elias of 199 Leonard Street, Russell DePont of 201 Leonard Street, Kathy A. Muchak, NT, who's trust, I assume, of 203 Leonard Street. A letter should be sent by us informing them that all debris affecting the wetland, i.e. the old utility poles, tires, and so forth, be removed as soon as possible, and that they should refrain of the dumping of any landscape debris in this area. They could be found in violation of Mass General Law, Part 1, Title 19, Chapter 31, Section 40. If they are not the current resident, they should inform any tenant resident of this notice.
There's a motion?
Second.
Yeah,
That's fine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous.
very well written.
Good job, Everett.
Everett, please send that to me tomorrow.
Okay,
Killed it.
Pass that right
Down,
down.
yep. Want to pass that over to Glenn, please?
okay. Agent updates.
So, the first update there is on the property on 324 Main Street, the owner here. We had a follow-up conversation since we last met, and I've also spoken with DEP a couple times, and just trying to get a little guidance, being new in position, but I shared, I think, with you all, the commission, a brief summary of the approach that the DEP was suggesting, which, in my opinion, and in my approach to like regulatory kind of work, is consistent that, that the recommendation from the DEP was that if Mr. Roman, if you seem cooperative, you seem, to want to remedy the situation that we have, is try to work together to come up with a notice of intent after the fact, and we can sit down with you and, come up with what the commission is looking for in terms of trying to restore any damage that's been caused to wetlands under property. One of those steps would be in, having the wetlands that are there delineated, so we know what's been impacted. But that's me throwing that in. That's not necessarily what DEP said, but basically, it would seem the best way forward is to try to work collaboratively and cooperatively to remedy the situation. The option for an enforcement order is always out there, but again, that's kind of in a nutshell. DEP kind of concurred with, I think, many of your, from your impulses and mine as well, that it's going to be a lot better if we can just work collaboratively on this. And so I'll leave it there, but again, that's Obviously, it's the commission's prerogative to, you know,
Right.
to sort, you know, to,
I think that was my sentiment from the beginning, was to at least get it delineated and find out, you know, what we're dealing with. I think that's the best starting point, and I think it'll be good to have your property delineated, and well, that area delineated anyways. I don't have an issue with that. You know, he's not telling us to kick rocks. He's willing to, you know, work with us, and I don't have an issue with going forward. Like I said, the starting point would be, you know, delineating and find out what the site layout is, and then from there, I don't have an issue with an after-the-fact filing and working with them to get that done appropriately and remedied. I have no issue with that at all.
Yeah, I think be good. Yeah, I don't know. What was I gonna say? Yeah, that sounds good though. Maybe oh, that's what it was. Time frame. We should be considerate of the time frame. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of having this delineation done just to help with plant life. You know what I mean? Maybe we should have a time and frame when, and
Well,
it would
I
help
mean,
them to get it done. so
I
we can get it going.
I would just ask that the delineation get done, you know, ASAP.
As soon as possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
So
at.
that way, if, you know, depending on where we are with this, you know, the plantings, if there is any planting or any, you know, reestablishment of the area, that it's done in the spring when it is grow season, you know, so.
So pretty much what I was getting at is maybe just have a time frame instead of just continue and have.
Right, no, well, I mean, this can be ongoing talks with the agent. I would say, you know,
This is
very
good.
soon get it delineated, you know, as soon as possible. That would be my recommendation. And then, I mean, we don't need to, we can just keep it on the agenda for updates, but I mean,
Right.
if we don't need to update it next week or whatever, but you just,
Maybe like a month?
yeah, I would say.
I think that would be a
month
great
is-
time
A month
frame.
is fair.
That should be adequate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I know from
Yeah,
experience.
we can do monthly updates in the process.
Yeah,
Our agent will work with them to keep the commission updated, and I don't have an issue.
Yeah, I
with that.
think a month would be good.
That would be the first step, I think,
Yeah.
to
That's usually how far-
delineate what we're looking at there, and then
Okay, so, I mean, we
Make a
can,
motion?
yeah, I'll entertain a motion to have the property, the area in question, I should say, not the whole property, delineated, you know, as soon as possible, and then an update from the agent. What would that meeting be in a month? That's
We got,
October,
September 25th or October 9th.
October 9th, and
Towards
an
remediating
update,
this problem.
and an update from the agent for the October 9th meeting. That's my motion. That's the motion I'll entertain.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 so I'm available and we can reach out, and we can talk. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Roman.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying is that,
Yeah, no, I'll give him the floor. Mr. Roman, if you want to speak, you're more than welcome to.
No, I'm just, it's, again, just absorbing all this. Thank you, and thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Yep.
Very good.
Jose, so I'll try to reach out
I
to you.
definitely will reach out, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll have to figure out who to contact
And
to
we can
get that.
probably come up with some names.
Yes.
A few different options for you to reach out to.
In the area that,
Yeah.
not 6 acres is quite a bit to tackle on.
it's
but
fairly reasonable, it's not that expensive to have the botanist come out.
Yeah.
Thank you,
We
thank you.
can, we
Thank
can,
you. Bye.
we can give you options.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, we can,
That'd be
we can do
stuff
that
we
over
can
the
do.
phone. now.
Yep.
We'll take, thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Any other updates?
The quick one was the Wing Street. There was a spill. I think some of you heard about this. I went out there. We got a call from neighbors. I went out there. I guess Jimmy Sosa was out there later, but I mean, it was beyond. I mean, you could smell diesel. I mean, the complaint was, we're in our living room. And it seemed like a fairly contained area. It wasn't in wetlands. It was right where the access road came off Wing Lane. I think it's Wing Lane.
Yep.
Right there. There's some steel plates there. And, you know, I provided this letter back from, to you all, just, you know, for your information. It's from the DEP. It provides some of the specific details about the spill and what was done. And this was notice of the responsibility that has gone out. But
So Mark, it was significant enough for Clean Harbors to be called in though, correct?
right.
And what was there a remediation done by them?
Soil removal, I believe, was.
Yeah. Says the extent of 150 cubic yards.
150 cubic yards?
Yeah,
A release of estimated 40 to 50 gallons of diesel fuel.
yeah.
That's,
It was.
I think that's pretty substantial. I mean,
It is.
Truck wasn't
No, it is.
fluid.
You know?
Yeah.
from what we
Well,
originally.
I mean, you know, again, it didn't impact the wetlands, so
No.
that's a plus, you know?
Right.
I mean,
Right, that was a savior there
Right.
because it was upland.
diesel fuel is a plus.
You could see the soil was still,
Yeah.
I don't want to say wet, but yeah, you could
That's a
see
good point.
dead
too.
vegetation.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. No,
Somebody
you're right.
knew
I've seen that as
the
well.
extent of whatever, you know, the spill was. It's hard to imagine that however it happened, somebody didn't realize it, so I don't know.
I probably put the gas tank, went to fill the tank when they bring the trucks in and left the gas filler in there. It fell out, nobody noticed, and it was pumping out of the truck
Yeah.
onto the ground.
Yeah, but there was no wetlands there. And, I left, I guess, Clean Harbors came out, the fire department was out, Jenny, Joseph was.
Have you been back to the site since this occurred?
I haven't, but I should probably take a trip
I
back
have,
there.
I have, it's been, they're working on it every day, and they have all the right, equipment to.
Resources, yeah.
Resources, there's not,
Oh, yeah.
there's nothing else more that we
Right.
can do at this.
No.
Every
As far
night I
as-
go up there,
as
the
far as this
area has a
commission
top
goes,
down over it, it's all buttoned down.
It's still a shame, that's
Are
for
there any
sure.
complaints coming in from that, Mark, as of today?
There,
No, I might actually reach out to the abutters there, I forget, her last name was Tripp, I forget her first name, but I've got their numbers, I might just give them a call and see, you know, just courtesy. Yeah, I haven't
The
heard.
Board of Health agent is involved.
Yeah,
There's
I
a-
would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's clearly a
Yeah.
it's a
hazard.
well-known,
It's a hazard.
it's a
Right.
well-known, it's
So have
well-known.
we been included in a plan with anybody as far as what's going on, what's gonna go forward?
It was all
Yeah,
upland.
we have
No,
no
I-
jurisdiction.
All right, I mean, we're not,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we're not really directly involved because.
The right parties are always
It's not.
involved. DEP's involved.
Yeah.
There's
No, that's
nothing else
correct.
they're gonna
Yeah.
take care of
I mean,
anything that.
DEP is the main,
Yeah, so we can just, if we,
you know,
what else are we gonna do about it? I think they're doing a great job. Like I
Anything
said,
else, Mark? You got anything else?
No.
No other agent updates?
Oh, I've got a quick, couple others, I've just been trying to make a couple site visits, requests to come out and see ongoing work there.
Alright.
One, you know, recommended 185 Mattapoisett Road.
Yep.
They were continuing work, the siltation fence, you know, I had them, you know, reinstall it, it wasn't. You could see they had put something down, I guess that project, you all probably know it better than me, but it's been a stop kind of situation, so they're back in there, putting in a retaining wall. The equipment's not gonna be down in the wetlands, but, you know, yeah, so I've made a few site visits like that. I mean, that's kind of the more notable one. The other one that's here, and we have, yesterday, I went out at the request of, and we actually have the folks here that, this is their issue, but I got a request to go out and see 2 parcels of undeveloped land on Lambert, East Lambert, and Cox. And just to the discussion started in the office, just, a question about whether there was any wetlands resource on the property. I said, you can request, file an RDA, but I also said I'm happy to, fairly small lots, less than an acre, one of them, and the other was, I don't even know the square footage, quarter.
0.63 and 0.76.
Yeah, so it was something really doable. I looked at the wetland, DEP wetland mapper. And so I went out and walked it just as a courtesy, and I said that, whatever I see, it's not an official commission opinion, that, to get that, something official, have to file an RDA, come before the commission and, get a site visit, to confirm that. But what I did see was, I didn't see any wetlands on there. It's dry, the vegetation was upland vegetation. But again, as I said, this is not an official, this is my informed, educated opinion, so.
Right, all right, so I'm looking at a map, and I think I found it's 2 lots, and it's at the end of, so when you take a right on Cox Street, it kind of goes off into the woods, is that where it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's like a sign there that says no dumping or whatever,
Yeah.
that's the right of way, right?
There's a boat park right there.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the area.
Also dealing with tons of debris and TVs and
Stuff that
the
been.
neighbors just keep dumping all kinds of,
Yeah.
garbage there, which is.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So there's like a paper road in between the 2 lots, correct? So that's actually, it's Lawton Street
Correct.
on my
Which is
map.
actually my great-grandfather's name, Lawton.
I'll look at Mass Mapper, if Mark didn't see anything on there. It's surrounded by houses, so I mean,
Yeah. There's one deep marsh, but that's way out, and the conduit goes far from the property, so it's nothing that connects anything to that property. It's just it's way off.
So I think our best suggestion that all of us could make right now, and make it simple, is just if you really want to know, none of us can tell them if it is a wetland or not.
No, but we can look on.
So we
right.
can, hold on, so we can just, you can just call a botanist and have them come out and take a peek. They are fairly reasonable.
Who is it?
A botanist?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
like
can just look at a
scientist.
wetland scientist, if you really want to know, your best bet is
That
to
would
call a
cover you.
professional.
And then as for the lots, you could contact ZBA.
And you can,
If you don't have the frontage, I mean, there's houses that are built in that area are on 10,000 square foot lots.
Right. Right.
I think
Yeah,
we're
they're small. They're
probably right in
small.
front of your property. There's one.
And what I'm thinking is, so I'm the real estate agent, and I'm new to the land sales, and I'm just trying to think of how we can best do our due diligence to.
Yeah.
So I'm not misrepresenting any buyer that comes into the area. I don't want to be lying to anybody. We want to be upfront. So that's why I came to the conservation committee to see if there is any wetlands. Then tell us, so we can be upfront with
Right.
If there's not,
I
then,
kinda-
hey, we move forward.
Yeah, I kind of share Eric's sentiment. I get a lot of calls like that, and I always just say, just make sure you do your due diligence. That's probably it's pretty
That's
much.
why we're here.
Well,
That's what
I
that
had
would be.
explained to them, Max knew, so, the commission doesn't usually go out to vacant lots and
Right,
describe
and
wetlands or,
exactly.
and tell you that. He was looking for documentation so he could put something on, I think you said a website, or to advertise that it would be, like,
Right,
there's no
right.
wetlands contained. That's not the commission's purpose here,
Right.
so I tried to, explain that. They did fill out an RDA, he did pay a fee. I didn't know what you would be looking for, like, because normally we have a set of plans, we have, a demarcated area with a wetland line. You're looking at a vacant piece of property, again, do you want to do that?
I don't think an RDA is required because there's no work being done.
Right,
Like
but then he was looking for a piece of paper that would say, these are all upland lots.
okay, so so we're gonna have to start changing this. If someone asks you a question like that, you gotta tell them to get a botanist. Because
That would put, by us saying that there's no wetlands on the property, it'd
It's
put
gonna put-
liability on us if there
Right,
were. So,
that's
no, I agree, that's why
No, just call a botanist, I think it's like 100 an hour. He'll come out,
Yeah.
take a look, and then he'll mark it. You can actually have that written in paper and sent in. It can go with your RDA. You're already ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So the correct step would be to call a botanist.
So I've been trying for a year and a half to get any resolution about this. A year and a half, I've been going back and forth with Andy, conservation, planning, a year and a half. I've got nothing. Nobody said nothing for a year and a half.
I'm so
Up until
sorry.
he helped me.
I'm so
A
sorry.
year and a half until this guy just came, recently new. He came out, the first person ever,
Good.
besides,
We're doing a good job then. We're trying to change here, and that's a big step.
no, God, he's on the select board.
Hinkley, Gaspar?
Kevin Gaspar. He came out one time. A year and a half I've been going through this to find out about what I can do. So my family developed all the land from Nyes Lane going north. It was called Adams Park. A year and a half I've been dealing with this. I want to build my own home, my own family home now. It's crazy how nobody ever got back to me. Andy said, I didn't hear from you. I said, search the email. He came right up. He showed right there. He said, yeah, you did reach out. Nobody got back to me.
Yeah.
A year and a half.
Did you contact ComCom? I would have checked it out.
No.
Yeah, I've never seen this property.
Not my problem. I've reached out to who I could reach out to.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
understood.
Again, Kevin Gaspar, I'll help you out, help you out, help you out. I went to planning, I went to multiple different people
Yeah.
It's,
to find out. I want to build my own family home there,
Oh, I
where
get it.
where I came from.
No,
I
understood.
get it.
And I've done work in Acushnet, at Potting Ways. I've tried to stay kind of local, and it's been so hell that I've actually, I wanted nothing to do with Acushnet,
That's
which is sad.
Yeah,
That's why.
Up until he actually came out to a site visit, and I actually waited. He went to some issues at the pot, and I was like, you know what? Let's wait. I'll call Kevin Gaspar. Maybe he has connections to get a hold of him. And I waited an hour and a half, maybe. You had ran into some problems. I waited. We both waited hour and a half or so. He came out. Let's walk it. All upland. I've gone there and picked raspberries. My family's planted, trees out there since I was a little kid. And for a year and a half, I've been going back and forth about this. And I would love to build my own family home there. To deal with the shit that I've dealt with in a year and a half, it's been crazy.
Other than the TVs and tires.
TVs out there, I've been dealt with, there's a guy that, in Kevin Gaspar can, vouch for me. He knows how he put an addition on the property or whatever, and I've got to say, listen, this is my property. Can you please remove your boat
Right.
off my property? And now it's on the street.
Is
Yeah.
it posted?
You can see it on the street. If you
Foundation,
search
right.
Zero Lawton Street on the MLS, right?
It's 36 Cox.
Yeah,
Wow.
36 Cox Street. You can see a boat sitting right there. That was on my property.
Yeah. Do you guys have it
It's-
posted? No
Of
trespassing?
course it is. It's right there. Do not dump. You
Yeah,
can't
so
dump.
I see the sign.
If you walk in there, it's full of gravel. It's full of concrete boulders.
Piles,
So,
Piles of shit.
if you wanna to take care of this problem, you're gonna wanna call the Acushnet Police Department.
Done that.
And you're gonna have to
They
file.
posted it.
Hold on, you're gonna have to file for vandalism. Would be a type of vandalism.
That should be up to
And
the
then-
commissioner.
and
That
but
should be up to the
no,
health department.
that's, I'm sorry if other people don't do what they say they're going to. I understand and I feel your frustration myself. But these are the steps we have to do. And that would be who would deal with
Represent
that.
the DPW?
Huh?
Are you part of the DPW?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not.
No, I'm definitely not.
So if you walk out there, you can see, there's TVs, there's all kinds of
Yeah,
garbage out there. It's
so
ridiculous.
I should, let me say that, I think as a commission, the same, we share your frustration or feel your frustration. I said when I went out there and as a new agent, as a courtesy, the lot size was doable. I wouldn't have wanted to walk anything bigger because you're not gonna see the whole.
We went from
lot.
lot to lot.
Yeah, we
street to
covered
street.
it. But we
Whole
all,
thing.
I was gonna say, also had some advice from the commission here about maybe you do need to get this out there. Maybe that's the answer.
There's no
That would
maybe,
be the
it's
start.
definite. It's definite. There's no
So it's a definite
maybe.
thing, correct, but now I have to incur a cost to have an botanist come out, when I'm going to conservation, which I thought they were approved and they were, you know, qualified to come out and look at the land, to see if there was upland and see if there was anything.
No, that's not-
We can go out and see signs of what we are looking at. Usually we are presented with a plan, which gives us something that more professionals have already gone through, that gives us a list of water flow and the wetlands on the page, buffer zones, all that. We don't, quite frankly, just identify.
Right. Sorry, I apologize.
So not just not just a botanist, we need an engineer?
No, just, you need to get if you get a botanist out there, that's the person that's qualified to tell you if it had, what vegetation is there.
Mr. Chairman, what is your recommendation?
I mean, this is the first I've heard of this.
Which is crazy.
Are you Derek?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct, Derek.
So, let me look at Mass Mapper. Mark has your contact. Let me, just give me till Friday.
Perfect. Done.
I'll look at it.
I've already, again, this is, you know.
I don't think there's anything within 100 feet of that property.
I know
of
there's not.
wetlands.
We had torrential downpours the day before, and we walked it, and there was nothing at all as far as wetlands. There was no standing
No,
water.
I know the area.
You know.
There
again,
are some wetlands to the northeast, I would
Fernandez.
say, yes.
Fernandez.
Yeah, it's the deep marsh I was talking about with the conduit.
But that's not on your property. Let me look at it, and then I'll give you a recommendation after that.
I appreciate that. I just don't want to incur any more costs. I pay taxes on this land for year after year. Since I was 16 years old, I've been paying taxes on this property. Literally since I was 16. I can literally prove I've been paying taxes on this from, you know, generation after generation. And, you know, for a year and a half since my grandfather passed away, it's just insane. I wanted to live there. I really did. And
You're gonna build a house.
I want to build my own house there and then have a property across the street, garage. You know, it's just, I'm so deterred now of the time frame.
Right.
And I'll help you out. I'll look into this back and forth. And you didn't reach out, and then I have, you know, email proof I reached out. I just want, you know,
If you just
point me in the right direction.
You just
know
call
what I
the
mean?
botanist. Call the botanist.
You may not need a botanist,
shouldn't
Eric,
have
if
to.
it's all up to you.
Eric,
Again,
this is the third time we've
Eric,
heard
the
somebody
chairman
else deferring to
made a
somebody else.
recommendation, and
This
I
is the
think
third
that's
time.
Give
sufficient.
me till Friday, I'll reach
started
out.
with him.
All right.
I'll reach out to Mark. Mass Mapper is very accurate in that area.
Correct.
They just rezoned natural heritage, all that stuff, all in that area, which we have projects on, so it's very accurate in that area.
So
That is
Tabor,
correct.
so
If
Don
it's-
Tabor, do you remember that name, Tabor, in Acushnet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that actually subdivided all that property, which is my uncle, which is my great-grandfather's brother. He developed all that land. He's the one that subdivided to figure out what was, you know, different areas. He was gonna have a family park in the area. It was called Adams Park, which I don't know if you have that blueprint. It was gonna be a family area in a certain area, which is still the property I have. They ended up passing away before that could actually happen. He's a pretty smart guy. You know, he was a civil engineer. He done tons of property in New Bedford. He did the waste management. This is actually the original. I actually have the blueprint, which is actually blue from 1922, when this is Adams Park. So this is
22.
Nyes Lane. They developed all this lane back to the
Incredible.
corner where this is right here.
Wow.
So this goes back to 1922. So I wanted to build my own house right here, and I'm not doing it now, which is pretty sad to say, to be honest with you, which is unfortunate. But if you guys want a copy of this, you're more than welcome. I can make copies and submit it with. I actually paid the $300 and made the copies and to the ZBA. If you guys want that or not, but you know, I'll wait for Friday.
Yeah, let me look.
Monday.
Let
I
me
mean,
look
it's
at
been a year and a half,
GIS,
so I'm not-
and then I might even want to go out there and take a look, and I'll give you my best.
I'll make myself available.
It may be, hey, it would be better if you did have this delineated. That may be my recommendation. It's hard to say, but based on where that is, I'm familiar with the area. It's houses all around it.
Right.
Correct.
I think the concern for me and Mark was talking about was it's an undeveloped piece of land.
Which was done because,
Taxes.
honestly,
Okay.
Right.
My grandparents were cheap and they didn't want to pay taxes
Yeah,
on
no,
local
I
land.
understand, but I'm just saying, normally, with Eric saying that, people come in with a plan, whether they're doing addition, a new dwelling, septic repair, so the
Yeah.
commission gets, like I was explaining to you, they get a map or a site plan
Correct.
with the delineation.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think
Or
it
they go
requires a
out-
filing.
Or they,
No,
no,
it shouldn't.
right,
It
but
shouldn't,
what we're saying
but-
is, I just had him do that while he was there, only because we didn't know how the commission wanted to proceed. I don't wanna make a new policy for just him, and then everybody else has to follow it, right? So where it's,
We're not making a law.
you know what I mean? We're gonna send Mark out there and he's gonna start saying whether lots have
Well,
wetlands on or
yes,
not.
that's not our responsibility.
Right, and that's what I'm
No.
saying. So he was asking,
No,
these
not our
gentlemen here were asking for documentation from our office,
I
on
wanted,
letterhead
it
or
was not
something.
even that, it was to be pointed in the right direction as far as
Oh.
how to follow moving
Yeah.
forward. Do this, do that, do that. It's not, I want something written in writing saying this is buildable. I didn't want that. I wanted something to say, right, go to this board,
What I explained to you
go to
what the
this board,
RDA
go to
would
that
do,
board.
the RDA would give you something for 3 years. that
Right,
would
but
say
I've been
this is-
told by 5 different people, I don't need that.
You can also
But-
go on YouTube
Also,
too.
I've been working there for 5 years, I do not recall any kind of outreach from, I mean, I
Again.
apologize if I don't recall Brian
Right,
saying he
that's,
doesn't.
that's
Yeah,
why,
I-
that's why the point I'm at right
No,
now.
I'm pretty on the ball. I look at
Yeah.
everything.
And I sent
I-
everything
if-
to.
believe me, and I
agent.
I
I
can
would've been on
send you
it.
an email right now, reaching out to the building department to find out, hey, listen, I can literally show you on my phone right now,
Right.
back 2 years ago, when I reached out and find out, I got 0 response back. And I came in there, I paid my taxes, I reached out multiple times to find out, hey, can somebody reach out to me? I got a hold of Kevin, he's like, I'll find out, and he says, Rick, I'm so sorry, I forgot about you, you know, I'll reach out again, and there was a, I forgot exactly what he told me, what the problem was, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll give you another few months. And I had text messages and everything. I go on back and forth, and I didn't know. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna stop right there. I'll let you, hear from you on Friday.
Yeah, I'll give you the best,
You know,
my best
I'm trying not to incur
recommendation.
any
I don't
more
think
costs.
you don't need, I don't know, there's no work that's gonna be done. I don't think it would
Correct.
require an RDA
Right.
from the commission.
I'm just speaking.
Right,
from
well,
the
well-
I understand what you're saying, Eric. I'm not gonna tell him, no, there's no wetlands on your property.
As-
Run the ad or do
not-
whatever. I'm gonna give him a recommendation
As a
based on.
courtesy.
As a
That's
courtesy.
correct.
And that was, the visit was a courtesy.
Correct.
No, that's
I
all.
think
That's
This
correct.
isn't like, we're not setting a new
But I-
precedent,
right.
when a real
I
estate
also
agent calls
learned
us and
a
says,
lesson.
hey, is there wetlands on the property?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not, run the ad,
We're
no,
not-
that ain't.
We're
As,
not-
like,
we're not in that.
Like, as far as we know.
Because it happens all the time,
there is
people
nothing-
always call, and then sometimes I'll tell Joanne, hey, no, I don't see any issues with it, there's no problem. It's just like signing off with a septic with the Board of Health.
But-
Joanne will call me and say, hey, is this all set? Yep, all set, no wetlands.
Yeah.
It'll be the same courtesy
So
that I
it
do for that.
is. It's a courtesy that. Thank you.
It's not, that's the way I
You-
do.
Obviously recommendation,
what-
but if somebody comes to the office to me and asks for something that they want in writing, I didn't think Mark or any of you were gonna, we need to have a policy. We used to have a site visit form. They paid a fee to send the agent out there to give them sort of some direction. I don't know if you wanna start, I mean,
No.
Mike, remember that? Do you remember that, Everett?
None
Heidi?
of us. All right.
No?
Okay, this
All right,
should just
well,
end right here.
Yeah.
For a se- no?
And
I
I
think-
mean,
have-
basically, the
I think that's a good
site visit
recourse, what
plans
you
we get in
recommend.
are for either work to be, shed placement like we just did for the Bouchers, septic repairs.
How come I wasn't getting that fee when we didn't have an agent? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All I wanted,
No, I agree. It is. It's on. It's on the website. It says there is a fee for additional site visits. All that. There is a fee.
I don't care what you guys do, I'm just saying, we gotta start figuring out how to handle that, you know what I mean?
No, I agree.
There's a,
Because we're getting,
Yeah.
You can speak, go ahead. You can think.
no, like,
Makes
it's, the question was asked, what should I do, right? In our area, to identify if it's a wetland or not. Okay, I have a reasonable knowledge, right? I can go out there and tell you, just like Minton did, that I believe that this could be or couldn't be a wetland, without doing auguring, without getting all the correct things. So everybody thinks wet is wetlands. Wet does not. It means the water table comes up. It has to do with soil content. It has to do with the sandiness of the soil. There's no way, none of us have the right credentials to give you an exact positive answer. So, from personal experience, it was in my best interest to just call a botanist. It was very cheap, And I had a lot more than just an acre. Come out, looks around, says, hey, I think I can work with this. A lot of them will say, I think you could use me. I don't think you need me. I think you're all set, sir. And then you can go from there with a professional answering that question. It's not over. We don't need to make it over.
No,
That question was the question.
Listen, I totally agree with that.
Was the answer.
But also, all the houses around there.
Okay,
they have 100 by
I
100
understand.
lots.
But the question was the question, and the answer.
But a year and a half ago.
I understand.
Nothing to do with you.
I get it. No, because I was you. I was you.
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from this because
Once again, I'll get pushed off.
No, you're not getting pushed off.
I'm getting shut down. Like,
And I just gave you the answer you need.
Again,
And I'm getting shut down, which is extremely frustrating, it really is.
what the chairman suggested, he's gonna do as a courtesy. Because it's not our responsibility to delineate any wetlands on any property. That's not the duty of the board. That's done by an engineer or a botanist. And then it's brought in front of us to be.
review.
And then
That's
we
correct.
decide special conditions.
So again, you know, what he suggested
When
that
can
he
you guys
would
actually
do.
come out and do a site visit?
Well,
Yes.
at the point
We'll
when.
come out and look at engineered. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
but-
please.
Thanks, sorry.
So we'll have engineered plans brought to us. We'll conduct a site visit as a commission. None of us will speak to each other while we're there. We'll make observations based on the plans that we have in front of us. We'll look at the wetland boundaries, and then we'll determine where the siltation is going to be installed or has already been installed. Make sure it's installed correctly, and then site conditions and possible issues that could impact the wetlands. That's basically what we do, and we try to mitigate those and eliminate those, and we can attempt to modify the plans so that there are no implications to the wetlands.
So you already
To
had
minimize
that.
impact.
You already have the map, right, where the, did you already have
It's
that?
just the,
Not that, it was that, but there was the
the DEP?
DEP map, which is far away from my property, which, you know, kind of.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna look at.
This is the property here,
Right.
and this is the deep marsh that's on the DEP.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna look at those, and I'll get back to you by Friday.
Friday, whatever.
So
Friday,
Brian will get back to
Well-
you on Friday, and I just need
You-
permission to know that I have your check, I have your application, we can hold it, and if Ryan gets back to me and says, Joanne, it's up and clear and free, they don't need to file anything, I can refund you your money, I
Perfect.
haven't deposited yet.
They do.
Perfect, okay with that.
And that, you know, that'll clear up what we're looking at here,
Right.
moving forward for, you know, vacant lots, I think that's the main gist here.
All right, that's correct.
It's not, like
not.
you're saying, it's
No.
not plans, it's not
Well,
a septic
I
design,
know.
it's sending, you know.
There's also
That's right.
sewer 200
What's
feet
up,
away.
Brendan?
No, I just, a bit of a,
Oh, this is
proposed
land.
Mhm.
It's right about here.
So DPI has no knowledge of sewer, which is
Oh.
200 feet away, which
Yeah,
blows my mind.
DPW, that's what I was asking.
DPW, sorry.
They don't have anything. All the paperwork, all the files, everything is a mess in there.
So,
It is,
so
it really
we're being
is.
told that there's no, you know, the neighbors like, there's no sewer around, there's one's like, yeah, there's sewer right here. The gentleman on the corner that has
200
a
feet
100 by
away.
100 lot,
Yeah.
he walked us to the sewers, like, the sewer's right here, and it's not less than 180 feet
Unfortunately,
away.
Does that go up Nye Lane?
No, well, I don't know where it
Leg,
comes to.
Leg, Legu,
Yeah,
Legu,
Legu
and right-
Street.
And then
right
right
to
down to New Bedford down.
39 or 38, I think it is.
Okay.
It's 182 feet is what I measured, from where that tie-in is, where my property starts. And they're like, no, you're 400 plus feet away. There's nothing anywhere over
Yeah,
there.
it's
This is just all stuff that we're trying to clarify before, you know, I don't want to misrepresent any buyer.
I agree
When they
with
come
you.
in, you know what I mean?
I
I
mean-
don't want to be the bad guy, I just want to have all the facts and the details, so when we give it to them, it's like, here, this is what the land
And
is.
if I actually,
Oh.
sorry, Ray,
Nothing.
even if I actually come to the conclusion, you know what, maybe I will build my own house here, I also want to know what I'm in for.
I hope you
know
do.
what I mean?
Right.
So
I really hope
it's
you
not
do.
only that, but
And you
yes.
could,
I think it would be,
on YouTube, if you look up, what correct steps would I take to build on a piece of property? There's an
So I've been a
hour video
builder for going on
that
20
goes
years
around.
now. I own a construction company,
Okay.
established, I built many, many homes. So I know, you know, I've dealt with Rochester, I've dealt with New Bedford, I've dealt with, not Acushnet, I've dealt with Fall River, I've never dealt with not getting correspondence back like I have. In all the towns I've dealt with, Little Compton, Tiverton, I'm licensed in Mass, and Rhode Island, I've never dealt with no correspondence. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody's time.
No.
And you coming out. You know, I appreciate you. I hope you hear from you
And
on
again,
Friday
I'm
and
gonna
find out
seek
what's going
some
on.
clarification from the commission going forward. You know, he came in yesterday, day before, asked, I was happy to do it as a courtesy and tried to make it clear this is not any kind
Right.
of official
Right. Just come out and walk out.
determination.
Right. Come out,
And
you know.
perhaps, if it had been any bigger, the lot I would have said no, because you can't actually see it. And I don't know, maybe this is not the way
Can't see it,
forward, and my apologies to the commission and.
I think, listen, I appreciate you coming out, so I hope there's no apologies there.
Well, Bill was trying to be responsive and hopefully you feel that
You
you
did more
got
than
some
a year and a half
responsiveness
most
here.
people have done, so I appreciate that, so.
Well,
Yeah, I'll give the same courtesy as well.
I appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
If
you.
you have any questions, he has our information.
Yep.
You know, Mark has information, his telephone numbers, email addresses. Any questions, you can refer them to Ray and myself, but I'm still available for any time you guys want to come out. That's about it, so,
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate you guys'
Contact
time.
information. You can give, actually.
I'll just give it to Ryan.
Yeah.
That's fine,
Okay.
yes. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Ray.
Okay,
Thank you.
no other business, future
I
business.
have one other thing that's probably going to be coming our way,
What do you got?
Harvey Street. It's up near Bob's house someplace.
What is it?
Somebody wants to put 6 houses in
Oh,
up there.
I saw that on, was it planning?
Planning.
Okay.
They got me here for that on Monday. I was
Yeah.
doing early elections.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and, from Bob?
No.
I meant to reach out to him, I didn't know if you saw that.
Regardless, right? You
One
got
of the people that lives up
one of
there.
the butters?
Understood,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
there's a number of wetlands in that area.
Mm.
All right, so that'll be coming our way pretty
Okay.
soon.
If I could.
Yep.
I know we had a discussion a couple of weeks back, maybe even 3 weeks back, the upkeep over there at the old golf course
Oh, yeah.
to the road frontage. We all drove by there Saturday, and I happened to look that way. Still looks pretty horrendous over there. Have we gotten a response from, what's her name? Is it Heidi?
Which, are you talking about the Navison fire
Yeah.
across from
Oh, that's-
the old driving range, or are you
The
talking
drive-
about
The old
one-
driving
Right.
range.
That's Navison, that's
Yeah,
Campbell, right?
and I was told that goes through the planning board, the screenings and the
Yep.
grass cutting.
Okay.
Because actually, it's on the road, so.
Right.
It's
not a-
our jurisdictional
Yeah,
area
would
is
be-
actually to the back corner.
Sure.
I was
Would be
wondering what's going on, too. I'm
would
looking
be
at
the
like,
buffer
what
zone
is
is not
crazy?
saying that any wetlands impact.
So I would say to reach out to, is it Haley?
Haley, yep, yep.
Haley and Planning?
Haley? Okay.
Yeah,
Because we just gave them a COC.
Yeah.
yeah, we just gave this.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I can, can reach out
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
to Haley, because she's
Yeah.
right next door.
I just thought we had an agreement with them that they were gonna maintain that to the roadway.
Yeah.
And I know it was being taken care of, and
Was
then
it
all
in
of a
the
sudden it
order of
stopped.
conditions?
It's part of the screening with the fence and the planting plan.
Oh, wait, no order of conditions, because it's already done.
It's not, I was told it's not our jurisdiction.
Right, it's planning, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Makes
Because
sense.
I
No, it makes
was,
sense.
I was making those phone calls, and then I was told that
Right,
it was
that it's
not.
Not our
not your
jurisdiction.
purview,
Yeah,
that's
it's
it.
not our
Right.
purview, so.
Yeah.
It's a shame, because they planted some nice shrubbery out in front there, and you can't even see it anymore.
No, there's been some complaints, and,
Hey, you can't, I don't think,
Well, we don't have enforcement.
I don't
Yes,
even,
Steve
we don't
said
have
he was gonna
enforcement.
take- I haven't
What it
heard
comes
from
down
Steve,
to.
I don't.
I don't even think, period, anybody's gonna have enforcement. That's like someone going to your house and telling you you gotta mow your lawn.
No, there are limits, absolutely. You can be told to cut the damn grass in your yard. believe me.
We'll add that to the next agenda.
I'll follow up on that one.
Yep.
too.
Um,
Haley, I'll push.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Board of Health,
And I have one thing, please.
What do you got, Joanne?
Just a new notice of intent for the weed abatement on Lake Street.
Yes, I
I
heard about that.
know last time there were few people here, the cranberry growers and stuff like that, but I think we all fit in here okay, so just the next meeting, it's okay to have it here. I don't think we have anything else
Yeah, it
on
didn't
the
seem
agenda,
like
so
there
we
were
should
that
have plenty of
many,
room.
right? I mean, there was a handful.
There was quite a few people here for
Think so?
that meeting, those
The,
couple of
But
meetings.
they might not come, because now they're gonna do the eco harvesting.
Yeah, but if
so-
they know this project's moving forward, in
Has there
my
been people calling about it? Oh, it hasn't been posted yet. Oh, it
No,
was
but they-
posted.
Yeah, no, they get
There's-
the butters notifications. Yeah,
Right.
it's been the same people that came in last time.
Yeah, it would be the cranberry
Yeah,
growers.
cranberry,
Yeah.
farmers, right?
I think we'll be all right.
I think so too.
I think
I
so.
just wanted to check with you.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
I guess I have one other quick thing. I wanted to take some training, and I've been told that, I've been told a couple things. I guess the final word is I should seek the commission's approval. It's the
Yeah.
Conservation Association.
Is it through the MACC?
Yeah.
I have no problem, I'm just gonna throw it out there, I have no problem with anybody, and I just got an email saying there's a bunch of Zoom classes that you can take, and I recommend that everybody take them. And I would say that go to, just, if you see the date, have Joanne, sign you up for it. We have money in our budget for anybody on the commission that wants to take those classes, so.
Great, we
I don't think that needs to be a vote, I don't think that needs to be a vote for you, I think,
No. There's my, oh, sweet.
yeah, no, we just, there's an email in, I think we just got it the other day saying, I got it the other day.
It came the other day too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was
Yeah, no,
coming. I did.
look through the core classes that you can,
Yeah.
and anyone you want, even if it's not a core class, and it's offered via Zoom, I think it's better than actually going out there, because
I was actually just looking into college.
But we can use WPA money, or I think Jamie mentioned to Matt, we have money in the training.
we have money in training, and we have, and WPA money can be used
Right,
for
so you
that.
wanted to use the training money first, right?
Use that
Voted
first,
for
and then if
training,
we,
okay.
yeah,
No, I
absolutely.
think we
Good
just
luck
wanted
with your
to-
schooling, Mark.
On
I'll go with you. If there's something I can go with you, I
What do they say
will.
about sending the
You can teach old dogs new tricks.
Yeah.
I'll go with you. if you
No,
need
I
someone to
don't,
go.
I don't think that needs a vote, and if there's any classes that anybody on this commission wants to sign up for, I recommend it. I've taken a bunch of them, and I think everybody should.
So I just called Joanne.
Yeah.
Call Joanne, the schedule's there, I just ask, do not miss it, and do not, cancel, because then I think a fee incurs for that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
make sure,
Non-refundable.
yeah, it's not refundable, so make sure,
You have to
Yeah,
give it back to the town.
right, yeah, you gotta pay it back.
If you don't,
Brian, I
if you don't
think
do
that
it, you have to give it
Jamie
back.
would want
Happened to me.
either your, as the chairman, with the
So I
vote
know.
that I put on it.
Is
Good
that
thing you pay those
the page you gave me?
taxes.
No, I'm saying Mark has the invoice here.
Oh, yeah,
So
I'll
you
sign
can-
the invoices,
He
no
can't sign
problem.
his own invoice.
Right.
I'll have you sign it, I'll
Yep.
vote it.
And like I said,
Everybody else
with
does.
any training, anybody wants to do it,
How much time do you think you got in that seat, Everett?
I'll give it to you.
Yeah. They couldn't pay for you? They couldn't pay for you?
yeah, so. All right, so, future business. The next meeting of the Conservation Commission will be on September 11th, 2024. Meeting to be held at the Town Hall Meeting Room here, located at 122 Main Street, Acushnet, Mass. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Oh.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.